I'm moving out of my Bangalore apartment for a few months. I think I'll be back soon. And so I thought while I'm packing up my books that I'll quickly share what are some of the books I'm reading. These are all books that I'm picking up randomly, so there's no order, right? Book number one, The Daily Stoic. I read one page of this book every day. Super useful, almost meditative. Beyond Harvard. This is a book by Mark. It's just a really good book for communicating and how to build relationships and networks. Yeah, that's like the biggest key takeaway I had from that. Ikigai, the long lasting Japanese secret to happiness. And I don't know about happiness, but it does have some really good concepts in the book. You'll find concepts like flow. If you know, Japanese people by large live a lot longer, and maybe that's because they have lesser stress. Maybe there's something that's in their food. There's a lot to pick up from this book, and definitely worth reading it once. Then I have Atul Gawande, The Checklist Manifesto. The basic premise of this book is how this doctor essentially does surgeries and a bunch of other things just through checklists. I love this idea how, a lot of these complex things that we do can just be broken down into almost like executionable checklists. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. I love the chapter Competition is for Losers. And there's a lot of really good stuff in here. The famous idea that is presented in the book is that of contrarian thinking. What is this one obvious truth that but others don't seem to follow? This other book is Small Giants. It's a book by Bo Burlingame. Companies that choose to be great instead of big. What the author is trying to say is that not every company is meant to become a Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, right? There are companies that choose to remain small and do things at their own pace, and that's totally okay. Really good book. Peter Drucker, The Effective Executive, really believes in this idea that we're transforming towards a knowledge-driven society, into the 21st century, because the more even automation gets automated, it's about connecting the dots across domains and across stakeholders. And so I really like this book also because it taught me the concept of tracking my time. So whenever I feel like notable results are not being achieved, what I do is that if I see this as a recurring pattern, I will just track my time and I will understand where is my time going so that I can actually not plan my time ahead, but rather track my time before to understand how can I change how I use my time. Okay, Gene Machine. I have not read this book at all. I think I just picked it up at the airport. Building a Story Brand. This is a book by Donald Miller. I really like it because it talks about the importance of really building a story brand, which means every brand is an entity. Every brand is almost like another person. And so a brand needs to tell a story. A brand needs to essentially communicate with its users, its customers, and often brands suck at doing that. And so this book gives you a really good framework. Definitely worth checking out the Building a Story Brand framework. You can Google it. Swipe to Unlock. This is a really good book for product managers and more specifically non-technical people who want to understand how big tech companies use certain features and what are the main features that they really are going for. And so here you're going to find a lot of good stuff. I haven't read the whole book, but I just try to find whatever is useful and relevant for me at the time, and then I just read it. Blockchain Revolution. This is a book by Dawn Tapscott and Alex Tapscott. I have not read this. I am told it's a really good book. I wanted to just understand more about blockchain and this whole Web3 thing. So that's why I got the book. No Rules. This is a book by Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix. I love this book. I've only skimmed through most of the parts. I think any startup that wants to build a culture for the long term, this is a book that you should definitely give a try. Blitz Scaling by Reid Hoffman, right? LinkedIn founder. I've read, a little bit of it. I don't think I will finish this entire book just yet because Blitzscaling is more specifically for startups that really want to scale quickly. And I don't think we're at that stage yet. So not very relevant for me at this time. This is a really good book, How Any Startup Can Achieve Explosive Customer Growth Traction by Gabriel, Weinberg, and Justin Mars. So I think these are the guys that were the founders of DuckDuckGo. They identify a bunch of traction channels. And yeah, this was actually my sister's recommendation. So you can see this message here. To Shivam, remember this one was my choice, I think. This was my choice, yeah. Lily. So yeah, this was my sister's choice. She found it online and she decided to gift it to me, and I actually found it really useful. The Lean Startup by Eric Reese. Super interesting book. I think one of the first proponents of building quick, launching fast, and failing and learning fast. So yeah, really good book. I think it's been used widely by really big companies now as well. So it has a really good system of building an MVP and learning from experimentation. This is The Blue Ocean Strategy. I love this book. It was one of the first technical books that I actually read. This book is going to just give you a bunch of frameworks that you can use to avoid competition or to basically build around the competition. Yeah, it has a bunch of really cool frameworks like Strategy Canvas, and which is essentially looking at companies and industries through the lens of variables and factors, and then deciding to eliminate, reduce, raise, or create those factors. So highly recommend Blue Ocean Strategy. Next one is The Phoenix Project. I have not read this book because I realized that it's a little bit for non-technical founders that might suddenly become an executive at a tech company, right? So I don't think that we're a company yet. We're more of a startup, and I don't think it's really relevant in my case right now, but somebody from Meta recommended it to me, so I got it, including this next book, which is The Adventures of an IT Leader. This one's good. I've read a few chapters, but again, I realized that it's maybe not as relevant to me today than it might be, a few years from now. Two books that I am planning on reading sometime soon are Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Yeah, so I'm really excited about these two books. I'm going to be carrying them while I travel now. And I'm also looking to do a few different courses, which I'll be sharing with you guys in one of the next videos. So thank you for watching, and bye!